right. I am ready to get started. Let's see. Hello. All right. So, Kurdistan. That's not a country I think I've ever heard of. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Looks like we got a lot of active people over on YouTube. Do you have anybody over on Twitch or Facebook? Sound off. Not sound off as in like the sound is off, but like, let me know you're there. Okay. So, I have a few ideas of things that I want to be able to work on today, including either this guy, which has been an absolute pleasure to work on. He's got a long way to go, and so does the horse and all of that. Of course. I've got... Let's see if we can find this guy here. There we go. Doing a secretary bird, kind of like my fish bot. If you guys aren't familiar with my fish bot, let me show you guys what that guy looks like, because he is pretty stinking cool. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't have me signed in on my ArtStation anymore, so we'll just go ahead and find... Oh, there we go. That'll work. Verify me. Something went wrong. That's okay. Easy enough to find. My fish bot. Okay. Let's see if it'll let me do it again. There we go. Alright. Fishbot. Fishbot's a really cool, fun little design. So, planning on doing a secretary bird. In case you guys don't know which one the secretary bird is, it's these guys. They're super cool looking. Or, you see, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so I've got this one started. I got this one started as part of a demo that I did last year, and obviously I never got through it. Funny. Let me see. I thought about going in and doing, we've got our vampy mech warrior character, which she needs a lot of work. Let me know in the comments if you see one that you're like, oh, we need to do that one. Tu me caches un truc. Un truc. Je ne comprends pas. Désolé. I've also got Lady Liberty started here that we could work on. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, so I don't know that I really want to work on this particular one, but we'll see. Let me see. There's also, since I recently started up my job with Marvel, I thought about going ahead and, let's go ahead and say Subtool Master, Fill, Material, okay. Curious why it's not filling the material. Does it have a texture applied? It does. Fill material. That way it's not so dark. Let's grab that material instead. Fill material. Alright. In fact, let's just go ahead and fill all of them. I thought about going through and taking my Toon Me character, and since I started up at Marvel, I thought about turning me into Spider-Man, where like Spider-Man's pulling his mask on or whatever. I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that because that's one of the things that I think I feel super excited about. So here's what we're going to do. This is my own personal head base mesh. You've probably seen it before. You've probably seen this portrait before, which is really fun, and it's just fun. Um, so what I'm going to do is let's turn off symmetry. And then what I'm going to do is let's just get started in kind of reposing the face. Let's kind of start bringing this down, and we'll start bringing the corner of the mouth up. The big idea here is to change the expression in a way that makes it feel, like me, but also to feel very, very happy, but like heroic happy, So we're just going to take this and modify and change. I don't have any layers, right? I shouldn't. There we go. Cool. Just wanted to check and make sure, because layers can sometimes ruin things if you don't take them into mind when you're sculpting. Oh, water is so good. Guys, if you haven't had a glass of water yet today, totally take a drink of water. Water is so good. I'm crunching my ice. And then I don't want these eyebrows to feel so Dwayne Johnson. I kind of want to take that away a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's turn off the texture map just so I can see my polygroups. And I'm trying to decide if I want to define a polygroup just for the forehead or for the brows, so that way it's a little bit easier to control them, or in the very least to make sure that I'm that I'm controlling and moving the right areas. Let's hide that. Hide that. Let's hide that. And that. Boom, boom, boom. It's kind of tricky working in asymmetry, but I feel like it's... I didn't realize that I could do that. That's kind of interesting. I had Control-Shift-Alt pressed with the select lasso, and I can go along and I can crease. That's really odd. But, okay. Gotta learn something, right? Daniel, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we've got this going on. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and let's get rid of this little area here too. And then for the brows, let's say... Okay, let's say maybe we only want up through here. So I'm going to go ahead, let's hide all this, Control W. That way we have a little bit of more landmarks to be able to judge how our character is morphing, how it's coming together. It looks super weird like that. I need this corner of the mouth to kind of come up some. Not a ton, but enough to make it feel a little bit more heroic. and less awkward. If you didn't use a base or topologized mesh, at what stage during the sculpt do you consider retopoing? And how do you go about it? Do you manually do it or use polygroups? I use kind of a combination of different techniques for my topology. Um, I'll I will always do my topology before I do the pose because it's just cleaner that way. If I But it depends on kind of what it is that I'm working on too. Because if I am working on something that I don't ever need to have topology for, um, something that's purely conceptual, something that just really kind of doesn't matter a whole lot. Um, when it comes to production and things like that, it's just a pretty picture. Then I won't do topology at all. But when there's something like if I want to be able to add it to a portfolio or to be able to do a demo for class or things like that, like for instance with my Sailor Moon character, the topology came in really early on, um, and I kept it really nice and clean so that I could manipulate things and keep things clean from an early stage. Um, Alright, let's get this guy cleaned up. Gotta move some points up. But yeah, so that's kind of my main thing is I love clean topology because it allows me to do so much more um, than just sculpt. But I also don't bother too much with it if it's not something that I absolutely need. If it's something that I don't absolutely need, rather. But yeah, sooner rather than later, so that I can manipulate things and keep things clean. That's kind of my answer for topology. Um, 'Cause it's important, it's helpful, and it helps to strengthen the rest of the creative process. So, I mean, as you can see with this guy, I mean, he's just a talking head, but he's. He is clean and he's workable. So even though he was in a different position, it's something that I can go ahead and I can tweak and modify and make something pretty. Oops. Here, let's go ahead and redo that. Gotta kind of clean up this zone here with this bottom lip and the way that it morphs into that corner there. Okay, and then one of the things I want to think about too is I want to consider kind of the angle or composition from an early stage. So I'll be thinking about him looking from this sort of angle, and so I'm trying to just keep this in mind. I'm not bookmarking anything quite yet because I don't have the body in there and the mask and things like that. So we'll probably work on getting. In fact, I need to figure out kind of where I'm gonna, because I don't wanna bring in I don't want to sculpt hands from zero. I want to see if I can finish this in the 2 hours. So let's do this. In fact, let's do it like this instead. Since we are working asymmetrically, let's turn on the mask lasso because I like the mask lasso. keep kind of an asymmetrical sort of facial expression here. Let's kind of invert that. Let's smooth it out some. Not a whole lot, but enough. And smooth it out the other direction, and we'll try to raise it some, just to help it feel like it fits with the expression. Control H to be able to hide that mask. Such a great little capability. Do is we'll kind of smooth that out just a little bit. Let's get rid of some of the wrinkle here in the. We'll leave some of that though. It's just that this is a little bit strong. It's a little bit too much. Okay, now let's fix that eyebrow so that it's not so menacing. There we go. Now he looks happy and heroic. Just little tweaks sometimes make all the difference. And I'm probably going to have to go through and add at some point some sort of the eyes feel different. I'm going to need to play with that at some point. Thanks, John. Yeah, I love working with clean topology. We were talking about this a bit a few minutes ago. Yeah, topology is king. Difference between move and move topological? That is a great question. Since I'm working on the eyebrows, we'll use the eyebrows to illustrate this. And in fact, this is a good example. If I were to use move right here on this part, you can see I'm working on one single subtool. This is even one single piece. Prashant, how you doing, brother? So using move right here, it's going to affect that whole thing. But move topological, you can see it's just affecting one piece of it. I'm just grabbing that top and moving just that top. It doesn't matter how big my brush is, it's going to only affect whatever is connected together via topology. So that's move topological. But move, it's just going to move everything that's within reach, right? So you see it even move that other side. So move topological, super helpful. So I'm going to use that, kind of fix that shape there. In fact, let's do this so that we can see the whole thing in context. Down. Yeah, I love having that capability, being able to move things topologically. Okay, the hair is likely to disappear, but we'll have to see kind of what happens when we add stuff in here. Let me see here. Let me see. I'm going to try to start making the mask here by, because essentially what I want him to be doing is I want him to say geometry, delete higher, modify topology, delete hidden, boom, like this, delete hidden. Okay. What I want him to be doing, thanks Daniel. Yeah, I do work at Marvel now. It's super exciting. It's super exciting. I'm elated to be there. And in fact, that's what we're going to be doing today, is taking my avatar here and turning him into Spider-Man. 'Cause I love Spider-Man. I'm not working on Spider-Man, but I love Spider-Man. So here's what we're going to do. What I want to do is I want to start with this piece right here, and then kind of make it so that there's a mask kind of going down around his spider pig. Oh my goodness. Peter Porker. Let me go down. Let's get rid of the texture because we don't need it. We won't be needing it. And then since this is going to be, I'm still trying to think actually on whether or not I'll actually design my own Spidey suit, but since this is something that's supposed to be fairly easy to what's it called, decipher, easy to understand, and know who it is. I think it could be important to just have it be red and red and blue. Oh shoot. Oh, hello. Okay, it looks like I've got a shirt in here, which we can get rid of. Maybe I won't get rid of it quite yet. I've got all these 3 balls. Essentially, these balls are in here because I had gone through and made a mask for my character at one point, which is kind of funny. But it's, you do all sorts of funny things when you're in a pandemic. Let's say delete. I'm just trying to delete things that I do not need. Moles, delete. Okay. Just try to clean out. I'll keep hair base for now. Eyelashes I don't need. Eyeglass. I'll get rid of that. I can make new eyeglass if I need to. Okay, cool. Here are my teeth, so let's go ahead and rename them teeth. We'll put them into the person group. Turn off the mask. I can get rid of, you know what, I like these two, so we'll hold on to them for now. And we will say modify topology, delete hidden. Let's go ahead and save this. We're gonna call this Spider Me 01. What am I dealing with today? I am dealing with something fantastic. Um, yeah, so essentially what I'm working on currently. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this to the bottom. We'll say mask. What I'm working on is let's go ahead and say this. We'll say color fill object. Okay, is I'm going to be making myself as Spider-Man because I just started up at the beginning of the month with a new job with Marvel, and I'm super excited about it. I love Spider-Man. It's not what I'm working on, but you know, what do you do, right? Um, so yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get started on this. Skip note until next restart. I'm just going to say close. Yeah, concave hole. That's fine. And then we'll take this. Did you make each tooth as a separate subtool, then combine them? Kind of. The way that I made those teeth, oh, that's not what I wanted actually. I wanted an, the way that I made these is just like a few cylinders kind of put together. And I just kind of modeled in the gums, modeled in the teeth. I have a few different ways of doing teeth. This is one way where it's like the teeth feel like they're one single thing, but but at the same time, it's like, you know, everything feels, it's built to feel separated. It's built to feel unique. And so, you know, as you see it in context, it feels like teeth. These particular ones, they're not like completely done. They're just the front. I don't know. I don't remember exactly why I did it that way, but it was simple and it worked really well for what I needed, and it was quick. So you know, whatever. Um, Let me see. I want to learn ZBrush. I don't want to be a character artist. I want to work on more like inorganic props or hard surface. I want to know how I can practice ZBrush on a day-to-day basis through which I can build up my skills in ZBrush. Well, yeah, just pick a project and work on it. Um, you know, a lot of the principles that are shared in these live streams will be super helpful. Hold on. So I know that even for myself, you know, I've used ZBrush for many years now. Uh, I still find live streams to be insanely helpful. Um, okay, so I'm right now. I'm trying to go through and think about the pose and how I'm going to have the mask kind of being pulled off in that direction. Here, in fact, let me do it like this. Let's say, yeah, let's just use the move elastic. I don't use this brush very often, but I sure do like it. uh, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's doing quite what I would like for it to do. So let's try this instead. Let's say cloth move. Okay. So a couple of things are going to have to happen. Yeah, Paul Gabry is a good option. He is a genius. He is so good. If you want, sorry, I kind of got lost in my train of thoughts like merging into one. I was just like, oh shoot. But yeah, some of my favorite streamers to follow, especially for people who do hard surface stuff or inorganic props. You can check out Michael Pavlovich. He does all sorts of things. He does the whole gamut, everything. He's a character artist in the gaming industry and does amazing stuff. But he is so fast and so good. Very, very well versed in everything ZBrush, and so he's a good one to follow and to follow along with, because he does have so much knowledge, and he goes insanely fast. You'll have to like either watch his playbacks on like a slower speed, or you'll have to you know you'll have to slow things down some, but it's okay. I have to slow things down some. But it's insane. He's so good. And there's always something new to learn from him. Let's just make sure this is all masked out, because I don't want to modify everything. Yeah, I gotta turn off that dynamic. In fact, I gotta pull this down some more. There's going to be a whole lot of topology that's going to go in around here, so it'll be interesting. If you watch Michael Pavlovich on half speed, he sounds like a normal person. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Because he goes through 1,000,000 miles a minute, and he is so fast, and he's like, oh, you could just and it's like, if you slow it down to like quarter speed or half speed, he sounds like a normal person, It's instead of like this, he sounds like he's talking normally. He's awesome, and everybody teases him about it, so it's it's funny. but yeah. So yeah, Michael Pavlovich, probably one of the best streamers you can follow. There are other ones that are part of the Pixelogic stream team. Oh, here, let's turn off the symmetry now. I'll have to see if I can think of some hard surface guys, because hard surface is stuff that that I don't know that I see really a whole lot of people doing that these days. Okay, here, let me turn on symmetry real quick for a minute, because this is going to be good to have done symmetrically. Let's kind of soften out that mask, because I'm going to want to work this ear in some. Here, let's actually, we'll mask out this right here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll pull that ear in. And this is just for the idea of being able to flatten it against the head some, because the mask is going to be pressing against it. So, we'll see. We'll see kind of how this turns out. Let's grab that mask. And then we need to add in some resolution down along here. And then we'll probably end up projecting it some, so that it creates a bit better of a profile, like it follows the contours of the head better. And then I want to also make sure that this mask feels like it's taut, like it's tight against his head in certain spots, right? Like right here against his underneath his jaw, underneath his ear, right here. That's going to need to come up like a lot further. So let's just kind of pull this up some. Pull this out just a bit. So you see there, so one of the things that I'll be paying attention to, deadpan sense of humor, that's funny. One of the things I want to be paying attention to is the way that the cloth will be draping across high points. So in fact, let's take this up some. Just to be able to reveal my face some. I'm going to kind of pull this up so that it's more kind of going along that brow right there. In fact, what I might do, there's just a lot of points. There are so many points to deal with here. Let's get rid of some. Let's get rid of some of these points. Come here, you. Not close hole. Insert. We'll just go around and get rid of some of these. Oh, I finally saw Multiverse of Madness. What else did I see recently? Gosh, what all have you guys seen recently? You know, what are you excited to see? What's something you're not excited about? Get some hot takes on those films that people are or shows that people just aren't particularly caring for right now. The last season of Stranger Things, that was so good. I can't wait for the second half to come out. Yeah, next week. I find it odd that they split it up. I wonder if they had to finish rendering some video or something. Do you have your freehand masking brush tablet pressure global settings? Are you talking about? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Your freehand masking brush tablet pressure global settings turn on. I have to turn that option on for my masking brush every time I start ZBrush because I want it to act mostly like a mouse stroke. Freehand masking brush tablet pressure global settings turn on. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually like what your question is. See if you can help me understand it though. Because I mean, there are some setting things that I like to change. Not a ton. but there are some settings that I do like to change, and I know how to find most things. So like if there's something that you have a question on, I could probably find out how to fix it or how to do it, you know. Um, yeah, so I just these are my settings. This is what I have. Um, so let me see. Just use global. Yeah, it's just turned on. It's turned on by default because I've never touched this. Um, so I'm guessing there must have been something wrong. It's like if you go ahead and you turn that on, you can come up here to preferences, you can go to config, and you can say store config, and that should store that configuration. It should keep that on. Um, hold control. Well, I mean, you can see that. I mean, there's it says lets you define the same tablet pressure settings for all your brushes based on the settings set in the preferences tablet menu. So it's essentially saying that you can have things based on the brush rather than based on a global setting. Because like I mean this is something that's just on by default, so it's not really like a. But if you wanted to turn it off, you should be able to go ahead and then preferences, config, store config, and that should keep it. Yeah, let's get rid of those. I don't need those active. That should keep everything pretty pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There we go. I'm just gonna say deformation, say inflate once or twice here. Boom, boom. Just so that we can hopefully. I hate that. Okay, let's turn off the dynamic. Boom. Just so this way we don't have to worry about, hopefully we don't have to worry about like our brush is getting super messed up. The one brush that, well, I guess not the one brush, one of the brushes that I use often is ZModeler, and it's the one that does not like having the dynamic mode turned off. Hey, how you doing, Francis? Yeah, I have had a few jobs like that lately, and so this is exciting for me. Since I started up with Marvel, being able to be in ZBrush all day long. you know. Um, Oops. Let's turn off this dynamic mode for the smooth brush. Let's kind of smooth that out a little bit. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's so much fun, and I'm elated to be there. Uh, Paul Deasy's part of the Marvel group too. I actually don't know if he's still streaming or not. I haven't been on to watch other streamers for a while now. Just too busy, you know. Um, but yeah, some of my favorite streamers, some of my favorite artists are part of this group, and it's just awesome. So cool. Oh, something in my eye. going to start to try to match my surfaces, try to bring in some more points to kind of follow my high points. Give myself a little bit more mask there. Let's bring this up to follow the top of the ear. Something like that for now. We'll have this kind of follow the bottom of this cranium. Bottom of the skull area right here. And hopefully this all kind of makes sense of what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with this. In fact, maybe what I need to do stop reclaiming Garnier. Yeah, Paul Deasy. Yeah, he's working on one of the shows. Really, I think he still is anyway. That was my understanding, is that he was still there, just rocking it per the norm. Yeah, Paul's the man. He's so cool. Okay, I'm going to see about trying to add in some eyes. And I'm going to use the topology brush to kind of build something out. Here, I gotta see topology brush. There we go. And I'm just going to start by kind of building out something really rough. Something like that. Cut that in. Cut that in. You know what? I don't know that I want this to be as sharp down at the bottom, so maybe what we'll do is we'll just kind of have to round that out. But that'll be good for now. Bring that in. Bring that in. And then, you know, technically we can go ahead and we can kind of bring one across here too, to kind of make this a 4-point. And then we'll just kind of have to smooth that out so that it's nice and even. I think I am going to go ahead and just kind of pull these points together so that it just creates one loop going down and around. But let's kind of see how we feel about it once we commit it. Subtool, split unmasked. Okay. Yeah, let's kind of soften our Z intensity a bit here, because that's a lot. It was really that was really intense. Okay, this doesn't have to be quite so spanned out. Let's insert another loop in there. In fact, let's kind of split this. Get rid of that. Okay. in fact, let's do this. I'm going to grab my smooth, or my slide, sorry. Let's kind of slide that over, slide that over. Yeah, I'd actually, I'd applied to brown bag a couple of times. They didn't want me. That's fine. Okay, let's do that. Go back to slide. In fact, one of the things I could do, let's grab some sort of reference. I want to become famous by followers. No, thank you. Spider-Man. Who is your favorite Spider-Man? That's always a good question. That is always a good question. Purely for iconic's sake, I think I'm going to probably stick with something more of like the, oh my goodness, the, all the wrong name, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Something similar to that. There we go. Because like I really like that, but that's got that corner in there. Might want to get back to my ZBrush. Oh, that's why. Okay. Okay, I think what I'm going to need to do is it's trying to save all the other tools that I had opened before, and that's not going to be good at all for my processing power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my Spider-Me, replace it, we'll shut down ZBrush, reopen it. It wasn't about to crash, it was just being a baby. So let's go ahead, reopen that, and we'll just kind of start over from that point. Quinn. I did actually save. I did. This is one of my favorite things lately, actually, is that the new ZBrush, the latest version of ZBrush, will take you to the last used folder. That's insane. That is so cool to me. I'm not going to finish this today. Oh, that's right. It's the eyes. Okay, we're good. So I've got a couple of tricks. I've got a couple of tricks for being able to bring this corner back the way that I had it. I'm going to say, well, in fact, let's take a look at this. I do use ZBrush to make my maps. So I mean, we have. Here, let's go ahead and get this. Open image in a new tab. We'll open up our Tom Holland Spider-Man, and this is gorgeous too. So I don't know. We'll have to decide if which one to prioritize. Because this Tobey Maguire, these eyes are so iconic to me. You know, if we look at old, that's not comic book. Let me see. So we look at like classic comic book. It's got the rounded bottom. So yeah, rounded bottom. We'll keep it a rounded bottom. Why not? Why not? So I see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was actually kind of breaking the mold. So we'll just kind of straighten that up a little bit so get a nice little bit of a curve to it. Yeah, let's see. Oh, gotta bring up my select lasso again. Just kind of like puff this out some and then relax it into place. So that's a little bit better. Let's go ahead, Control D once, just to be able to give myself a little bit more resolution to work with. We'll fix this corner. We'll fix this corner. Fix that just a little bit. Okay, some of these shapes, let's kind of fix some of this. I'm not going to make it to be exact. It's just I'm just trying to get it to be cool. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go color fill object so that way we can see what it is we're working with. Display pen tablet for ZBrush? Absolutely. The one that I use, the one that I've always used, is the Wacom. Yeah, let's just go to their website and check it out. Oh, Anne Frank is on the Google page today. Let me see, products, pen tablets, Intuos Pro, just to be able to kind of show you how far your $300 budget goes. In fact, might need to go over to Amazon to check this out, but Wacom Intuos Pro Medium, shop now. This is the one that I have. It's $379. It's a little bit over your $300 mark there. The small one is just fine. I worked on a small one for years, and they didn't have a small one when I upgraded to the Intuos Pro. So if you look at this, this is $249, and it works just fine. It works just fine. I mean, it's really not a noticeable difference. No display. This connects to your display. Yeah. If you're looking for something that has a display on it, I think XP Pen is probably not fitting in that range. Yeah, I mean it's still hundreds of dollars, but it does have it looks like a $250 version. So, that could work, or a $300 version. So it really kind of just depends on what it is you're wanting to be able to get. A lot of people use these. I prefer Wacom just because I've had less problems with it. Just my experience. But it looks like you're an XP Pen person, so... You know, if that works for you, I'd say totally use it. Do it. Let me see. I need to get back to Spidey. Let's see. Got to try to play around with that shape some so that it works. And that feels like it's probably going to work out pretty well. One of the things I want to consider, most of my friends think Wacom is pricey and overrated. It's pricey, but definitely not overrated. It's going to be a thing of preference. I've never had serious issues with a Wacom, but I have had issues with other type of products, with other types of tablets and pen displays and things like that. And so I find it really easy to, to stay, what's it called? To stay loyal to to Wacom. Try bringing this a little bit closer together. Yeah, well, and some of these issues you'll notice them as you do, experience other things. I've experienced different ones like XP Pen I've used, and another one called I actually don't know how it's pronounced. It's Huion, like Uyon or something like that. That one was terrible. I didn't like that one at all. Probably my least favorite, most problematic one I've worked with so far. Wacom has just been industry standard. It's been, it's always worked. I've never had issues. Occasionally, you'll get issues when like a driver's out of date or, that type of thing happens. But really, Wacom is super, super nice. Chinese products are banned. Where are you located? I feel like everything's made in China. Man, this shape, I'm going to like fiddle with this shape way too much, and then I'm going to run out of all sorts of time. I'm going to call that good for now. Okay, so now let's keep moving on with this. One of the things I want to do, I'm going to say delete higher. Gonna get rid of that. Oh, look at that. We've got some more down here too. Boom. Boom. Okay. Say modify topology, delete hidden. Just kind of bring this down, bring this up. Just kind of even things out some. In fact, maybe what we'll do is we'll get rid of another couple of rows of this part down here of the neck. Make sure that I've got that color here. Color fill object. Check YouTube reviews on products I'm interested in to see which. Yeah, YouTube reviews they can be nice. But I think one of the things that's really hard is that YouTube reviews are oftentimes sponsored. So you got to be careful that you're looking for ones that aren't sponsored. It's like, oh, Wacom sent me this tablet, or oh, look at this, XP Pen sent me this tablet, and I've got one to give away. And it's like they're more invested in the product because of sponsorship, and so that's always something that I try to be really careful of. I like to read product reviews because those are ones that people are not obligated to give. It's all, yeah. So if you're like reading a product review, usually that's much more open and honest. I've got to add in a hand. Let's add in a hand. Let me see. Let me see. I don't already have a hand in here because I deleted stuff. Let's go ahead and get rid of this shirt. In fact, it's kind of funny. Maybe I'll keep the shirt and just keep it like an overlap thing. No. We'll get rid of the mask. Delete. The mask strings, delete. I'm going to keep this because I like the colors. I'm going to be able to use these. In fact, let's take this and we'll apply this to. I don't know that will keep it that color, but it's going to be like that for now. Maybe a little bit less saturated. Here, let's say polygroups from polypaint. So that way we get different polygroups based on the polypaint that we have. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll take color fill object. That way we have the two there in case we want to be able to use one over the other. Just fun little things. I like to look at negative reviews and see if the negative things aren't things that bother me. Like they don't have it in the specific shade or blue or something. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the negative reviews are always important to me to read because it's people who have had bugs and had issues, and then I can also see ways that the company has addressed that. It's always interesting. There are so many different ways to kind of go about product shopping. Here, let me see. I feel like I oversave sometimes and then I undersave other times. Load tool. Let me see if we can find a good. I'm trying to think of where I have a hand that I would like to use. I mean, this would be a super. I don't want to use this. Let's go to library. No, wrong library. ZBrush library. Where is my ZBrush library? Must-haves, base meshes. Where's my own base mesh? There's my head base. Got my horse, but that's not going to help me. I've got all sorts of other characters in there, and I don't want any of those other ones. Well, I've got Alistair. Let's try this one. Nope, no hands. But yeah, that's what the character looked like before he was posed. Ta-da. In fact, let's go here. Let's say that, and then load tool. Alistair should have everything though, so we should be good. Let's get rid of the texture. Alright, yeah, this is just a character that I had started working on in my spare time a couple years back. I've gotten better since then. He's not bad. He's just not amazing. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's say texture off. Let's just get rid of the texture. Geometry. Delete lower. This way we can hopefully go through and rebuild. Delete hidden. Reconstruct. Yeah, there we go. Although technically I don't need the higher resolution. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. We're going to say append. We'll say Alistair and get those hands in here. And oh wow, look at how like super misaligned this stuff is. Okay. What do I have that's really killing my alignment here? It's really weird. Let's go ahead and bring that in. Okay. Oh, it's the shirt. That's what's doing funny things for us. You know, quite honestly, it could be cool to have the shirt on there as like as a way of I'll keep it. Sorry, surface is what I wanted. Turn off noise. That way I don't have to worry about that slowing down the system at all. MRGB, color, fill object. That way it's not a weird color. Yeah. It could be cool to be like a hey, I'm Spider-Man. I don't know. Which means I might have to build a hoodie too. Build a couple different clothing layers. It could be nice. But for right now, we are going to focus on this dude right here. Okay, the hands are way too large. Oh, okay, good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to bring this up. Gotta try to compare this size-wise. That feels better. Shape-wise, I want to see the fingers kind of taper in a little bit. Mask pen, mask lasso. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's turn on local symmetry. Just get a little bit of taper there. I don't need a whole lot, just enough to make the fingers feel like they're tapering down a little bit. Am I really Spider-Man posing as an artist? Well, now that's a great question. Get rid of these right here because I don't need fingernails. Say slide points. You like how I avoided your question there? I'm going to say polygroups, autogroups, geometry, mirror, and weld. Boom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this and we're going to say split hidden and just hide that second hand. Hand underscore R. I see you've been swinging in the sun lately. Yeah, the curse of being pasty. Okay, one of the things that I want to do is kind of shorten that just a little bit, because the forearm in theory should be about the length of the head. Like if you were to kind of like test your head against your forearm, you see like the wrist to your elbow. It's about the length of your, the top of your forehead to the bottom of your chin proportions. So technically, oops. Let's go ahead and do that just a little bit further, about right there. I do need to fix some alignment issues. You can see like the topology is all scawampus. We don't want it to be scawampus. Oh, look at that. That's totally messed up right there. Yes. It's kind of funny. It's like I feel like I whip through things at work and everything turns out just fine. And then at home it's like, well, I mean at home. I'm working from home. But when I'm doing stuff on my own, I tend to noodle and doodle and overthink everything. I don't like the proportions of the fingers. So let's go ahead and kind of try to shrink that a little bit. That feels better. The hand is really thick. Voice issue, huh? As in you're enjoying listening to my voice, or there's something wrong with my voice? This is kind of an older model, so it's like I want to play around with the anatomy. Just a smidge. Autosave always jumps in. And then I want to kind of accentuate some of these. Let's turn off the floor grid. I don't need that. Just kind of give my base knuckles a little bit more of an accent there so that it feels a bit more planar, a bit more controlled and designed. And then, let's see. Let's go ahead and kind of pull this in, pull that in, pull this in. For some reason I thought I had kept my subdivisions, but I guess I hadn't. This is a little bit older of a model, so it doesn't have the edge flow going around the hand quite the way that I want, but that's okay. We'll just figure it out. And I'm not going to take the time to clean it up. This is meant to be just something as like a quick project, so we'll see. Hey. I just want to check and make sure that I am not getting too much of this. Yeah, I'm going to have to make a new base mesh at some point. I'm just going to try to kind of build a couple little accent points in there, just using what's there. Oops. Oops, 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 oops. Oops. Stop it. I feel like that could work. I want to kind of square off the fingertips just a little bit. Was that Mary Jane? No. It's more Nene Jane. that's a little bit more better. Let me see. I mean, it's supposed to be a glove anyway, so maybe it's alright for it to be kind of like that. I'm going to say geometry, delete lower. Maybe I won't. Meh. I'm just trying to gauge where my finger joints need to end up, and maybe it's not so much a matter of like like what I put in or like where I do something like that, maybe. Just like an extra loop in there. Should be fine, I think. Don't forget to save. Time for some breakfast. Enjoy your breakfast. Yeah, let's go ahead and save that, and then we'll see. Ooh, Robert Vignon is another great artist to follow. Who's was it Robert? The Chaos Masons. Robert's part of that, isn't he? I can't remember for sure anymore. But yeah, Chaos Masons are another one that's really good to follow if you're into hard surface stuff. Let's go ahead and boom like that, and then just kind of boom like that. I just want to have like a little bit more square of fingertips. Yeah, do you guys have questions? Do you guys, let me see, what's oops, forgot to do the move topological instead of the move regular. Okay. Thumb feels off. It's too deep. Let's do this. I'm gonna kind of shrink it up some. Take this and just kind of pull that up some. Just trying to shape these fingers so that they feel good. Otherwise, they feel not good. Makes sense, right? This shape, let's go ahead and kind of make it so that it's more flat on the top. Since it's a bony landmark, you know, that'll help to kind of refine that sense of what it is that we're looking at. I'll try to define this this landmark over here, this ridge of the hand. Let's pull this up some. In fact, it probably should be technically the other side here. So let's do this. Trying to think about the planes of the hand. It's so hard to see because it's so doggone dark. Let's turn off the paint. Try to even out the rest of the hand, make it so that this this section of the hand feels more planar. It's starting to feel better. Just need to kind of re-emphasize these knuckles a bit again. Kind of boost this, this, this. Trying to see if there's a no, that's fine. That's fine. We'll take this and run with it. Okay, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. Let's get him posed. And let's say, okay, let's pose that, pose the hand. Something like that. That'll work. That'll work. And just kind of like pose the arm around it. I know one of the things that I want to try to consider is like what's going to be happening with that arm. That arm is going to be coming in. There's gonna need to be like a shoulder and things like that, and it's just gonna be a pain in the neck to try to consider everything that's going in around here. So it's going to be a matter of coming in. Let's play with that a little bit. be sculpting at Marvel. I can't talk about the show that I'll be on, that I'm on. But I'm doing characters. I'm a character sculptor modeler for some of the new shows, and I am so excited about it. This is where I get a little bit more wonky and creative. Just trying to make the hand work for the pose. And so things will start to get a little bit a little bit interesting. As they should. Ah, you know what? Okay, I just got a cool idea. I'm going to keep a couple of fingers up, so he's like pulling the mask on, and he's got like, you know, peace sign on. That's cool. Cool. Okay, so I just need to undo everything that I just did. Let's see. Let's get rid of these guys. And then we'll take this, and we'll start bending them into submission. We'll worry about like fixing the transition once we're done, kind of, you know, more doing the rough posing. That way we don't have to worry about okay, stop commenting so that I can block people. There we go. Yeah, when things like that pop up, you just gotta go ahead and block them. Because that's just inappropriate. That's stupid. I don't need any of that garbage. Okay, so what I want to do, let's grab this. We're going to say polygroups. We'll say auto groups. That way they each have their own polygroup. We'll say auto groups. Same thing. Okay, that should all be good. The thumb should already have its own. The thumb's all just one polygroup. Not Q. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And we'll call that job well thumb. this up. I guess we'll only do the one finger at a time then. Tune in for a special stream featuring Shane Olson on 3D and Motion Design Show, hosted by Maxon's YouTube channel on June 22nd. Yeah, it's been kind of interesting to see the way that Maxon's been much more incorporated into the streaming and things lately, with like Ana Carolina and the streams that she's done with groups. Lots of stuff going on. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll do this. Now, one of the cool things, something I absolutely love about ZBrush, is just being able to kind of manipulate things super easily. Just kind of pull that over into its place. Over. Do those have different polygroups, or are they the same polygroup? Okay, it's different polygroups. It's just not very easy to tell. I'm gonna try to pull that open like that so that it's a little bit easier to see. Feels a little bit awkward like that, so let's do something about this. Let's go ahead and we'll say we'll grab these and these. Oh, give me a second. We'll take these, let's just rotate them down a little bit. Grab this. Then we'll grab our move tool and we'll just kind of bend it out a little bit. I feel like what I need to do, I don't have the strength to, no, I'm just kidding. ZBrush should introduce a bone system like Maya or Blender. It does kind of have that. It's the Z-sphere rigging. It's not a system that I enjoy or really ever use. Purely because it's just it's not my favorite system, but it does work, and there are a lot of people who do crazy things with it. I'm so much more analog than than people might expect. Oops. Oops. Gotta start fixing these sections on the finger. I don't want the top to be affected. I just kind of want this bottom area to be affected. I'm just trying to get this so that it's got the right flow there. Sorry. Oh, sorry. There we go. Okay. The right flow going around the knuckles. It just gets to be a little bit tricky dealing with some of these points. You get the muscle mass to kind of fold on itself. Let me see. How do you thickness of the wall, the mask, and the face won't overlap? I don't really care. It's not something that I'm worried about simulating for, like cloth dynamics or anything like that, and so it's not something that I feel like I'll have to be too careful on. Something that I do need to be careful on is just that shapes and forms and everything that it looks right. The cloth itself, there will be penetration, there will be things overlapping, and it's fine. I'm just looking for a final image. If I were looking for something that's more production ready, that's going to be a different story, and it's going to be different depending on how it is that whatever studio is wanting to achieve. For us at Marvel, there's a pretty big need for things to not overlap, to not penetrate, to not, things like that. So that way we can run cloth simulations, that way we can run, whatever else it is that we need to be able to run. And make everything really expensive, They really like their cloth simulations at Marvel. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, even you can probably see, and you'll probably notice like how I'm not being too careful with the topology to like make it so that it's absolutely perfect. But I'm still tweaking it to make sure that it's doing what I want it to do. Like right here. Okay. Next finger. pull that out some, pull this out some, pull this forward some too. For areas like this where things will be kind of bunching up, it's important to try to consider how like fabric will be overlapping since he's wearing, you know, his gloves. Oh boy, airplane just flew over and really darkened my window. Oh boy. Hey Chula, do you know anything about, hold on. Let's kind of get the twist of that finger to be corrected a little bit. Just kind of get a little bit more definition to the bend in that knuckle right there, so that way it feels a little bit more planar, a little bit more designed and controlled. Por favor, ayúdame. Ayúdate a que. ¿Qué pasa? Let's try to fix some of these flow issues. You know, when I was a kid, the only like video game system we ever really had, when we had an Atari at one point, like forever ago. I don't know what happened to it. It broke, or if we were just borrowing it or something. It seemed like we didn't have it for very long. But that disappeared at some point, and then after a while, we got an N64, and I remember spending so much time on that N64. It was it was awesome. I had all the Star Wars games. Those were my favorite ones. Um, I wish I still had those Star Wars games because they're so much fun. They're so much fun. Let's see what this is looking like so far. There you go. It's got piece kind of going up. It's that. I might try to like straighten out this finger just a smidge. And one of the hard things, let me see. Yeah, it needs to come down more. Let's get both of these guys. Kind of rotate down some more. The pinky feels like way too short compared to the ring finger now, so I'm just trying to even things out, and this is where things will get a little bit more. There we go. That's already feeling significantly better. That's already looking better. That's already looking so much better. I lost track of what I was saying. Oh my goodness. Shadows of the Empire was great. I loved Rogue Squadron. I loved Star Wars Pod Racer. It was awesome. And then, oh my goodness, it seemed like there was one more. Maybe it was only the 3. Oh, they're super good though. They were so much fun. Go ahead and kind of pull on this a little bit. Yeah, it's like I would love like a good, because like I mean the only platform that I have for, you know, that I actually have games on anymore is the Oculus. And I would love to have like a really good Jedi game on the Oculus. I have Beat Saber, which is awesome and it's so much fun. But I would love like action adventure. I have the Galaxy's Edge, the Tales from Galaxy's Edge game, which is awesome and fun, and I'm close to finishing all the tasks on it. There are a couple of little like extra challenges that I haven't finished yet, and then I might start over again and just do it again. I've enjoyed it. It's fun. But it's just been, you know, something that I've always wanted is like a really good Star Wars Jedi game, you know. Just for the funs of it. Yeah, it's one of those things that I technically don't really need. And so I don't spend money on games and things like that, even though I'd really like to. Like the one that I worked on when I was at Warner Brothers, Hogwarts Legacy. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan too. I love Harry Potter. Um, that's coming out at the end of the year. I don't have a PlayStation. I don't have things like that to be able to play the game. I don't know that I'll actually get a platform, and I'm not sure. I know for sure that I'll probably buy the game, irrespective of whether or not I have anything to play it on. I might try to borrow a system from someone. Maybe somebody at work has one that I can borrow or something. Um, but yeah, just kind of fun. Games are it's just part of past life, I guess we'll say. That looks better. Go to Blockbuster, rent the system. Does Blockbuster even exist anymore? Because I don't feel like anybody's brought up Blockbuster since they were talking about like the good old days. This is like I don't remember the last time I saw a Blockbuster. I'm trying to remember. We didn't have a. Well, I guess we did have a Blockbuster for a little while in the town that I grew up in. It was like right around the corner from where I lived. Well, I guess technically like through the fence from where I lived, but it was soon replaced by some other video rental company, and I can't remember what it was called. And that one was around for a good long while, but I can't remember what it was called. Shoot. Yeah, all those good old days. Oh, it's too strong. Got to get a little bit more peak on these knuckles, just for the sake of some extra shape. It should hopefully help the fingers to feel a little bit stronger. Let's also grab these points. Similar sort of thing. We'll just kind of move it up and out. Just a little bit, not a ton. Something like that. Starting to look pretty good. Oh, it's already after 10. Ugh. See, need to fix some things right here with this palm. In fact, let's go ahead. Let's say let's do this. I feel like the anatomy of this section of the palm is not quite lining up with what would happen with the real hand. I'm just trying to finesse. He looks like a Canadian president. Thanks, Jose. Yeah, I'm trying to tweak my personal portrait, my self-portrait to fit the new job and things like that. Oh, water just splashed me in the eye from the water bottle. Shoot. It's okay. It's just water. I hope. Alright, let's go ahead and see about adding in some extra edge loops here to make magic happen. Turn off symmetry and kind of work this a little bit more by hand, since there are some things that just need to be tweaked and controlled, like these spots here over the ears. It feels like it's trying to smooth it out some, and I don't need it to do that. Okay. Insert an edge right there. Turn on the symmetry for a second here. Let's get this to follow the ear a little bit more, just for the sake of being able to kind of like keep a custom flow going, so that it feels like it's conforming with the head and with the things around it. Let me see. These need to kind of go in and kind of conform to the head a little bit better. Let's turn off symmetry for a second here. Let's get this to conform with the shape of the ear a little bit better, because I mean there's got to be give on both sides, right? The mask has got to give, and then the ears got to give, and so yeah, just conforming to high points. Okay, this is where it's going to start to get to feel a little bit more like fabric. Okay, I'm going to take these points. In fact, let's, instead of doing that, let's use inflate. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to incorporate these eyes. Yeah, so the idea is to end up with a good final render. I definitely want this to feel good, you know. I'm going to bring this out in front of the eye, and we'll bring this down so that it kind of respects the the eye geometry a little bit better. And this is where we start to get, you know, like really cool like folds starting to actually build into our mask. Kind of pull this out so that it meets the edge of the head a little bit better. Let's use the pinch brush and just kind of like pinch this down some, just to get a little bit more of like a shape taper. Do something kind of like that. Yeah, I love this sort of thing. Like whenever I try to build clothing that needs to have folds built in, I love this part of the process where it's literally starting to feel more alive because of the way that the fabric is starting to be incorporated, you know? Super, super cool. Let's see. I need to build in a few more loops, and then what I can probably end up doing is, all right, let's go ahead and turn on symmetry for a second. Just kind of smooth this out just a little bit, so that way we get a little bit of like a resolution evenness more for free, at least in this little area, because I feel like that can work. So I need to add in a few more bands of resolution through here so that these at least feel more square. And then once I do, I can start adding resolution by smoothing, and that'll be very nice, especially for areas like right here around the thumb where it needs some definite attention. In fact, let's get rid of these for a second. Make sure that this edge kind of more follows the thumb. That way it's easier for deformation to happen. Like when I'm going through and kind of modeling in the roundness of this part of the mask, it'll be easier for me to make it feel like it's shaped to the thumb, like it's following the thumb and being influenced by the thumb if the edges follow what it's being deformed by. Some of these things are going to need to be tweaked and reworked, but it's totally fine. That's why we're here. Let's go ahead and grab this. Turn on symmetry just to try to shortcut this back part because this is still pretty symmetrical back here. It's just a matter of pushing and pulling points. Okay, that's not bad. Up here, what I want to do is I want to take this and round it out. Make it feel like it's bunching up and going over the top of an object, right? Just kind of smooth that out a little bit. Hey, Artsy Harvey, how you doing? It's always fun to see people around on the stream. I enjoy having people to talk to. It's a little bit too subtle. Pull that out. I don't want that. I don't want that. There we go. Cool. So now for this, let's go ahead, let's add another raised section of bunched cloth right here. It's all just a matter of kind of faking it, but like understanding some of these principles of making cloth feel compressed and making in fact, let's see. Oh, come on. Something kind of like that. And then I got to fix the way that this lines up. And then I got to check kind of my line of sight to make sure that I'm not blocking the character's eyes from wherever we want to. Yeah, there we go. Is his mask supposed to be ripping? No. His mask is just very low resolution and not done yet. Yeah, we're still at a very early stage with this, so it's really just a matter of blocking things in. Let's say crease PG, just so that it creases that opening, and now we can add another layer of resolution, and we can start to refine and make sure that our shapes are covering So yeah, no, it's not supposed to be tearing. It's just not done yet. Let's see, let's take this edge loop. We'll kind of pull that down and in like that a little bit. See if we can kind of smooth it out and make it feel like it's more going over these ears. Okay. So I mean, you can see like how well this is starting to turn out already. Like just how easy. Make sure that my symmetry is not on, which it's not, which is great because let's come down here. We'll say masking. We'll mask, yeah, mask by border. That's fine. Get that to, okay, now we should be good. Just use that Alt move. Okay, now we gotta kind of tweak this front of the forehead area so that it feels more stretched. Right now it feels too doughy. So it's got to be a matter, there's got to be a balance of making it feel like it's you know, like it's hitting those high points and being stretched across high points. The high points being the thumb, which is, you know, either pulling the mask on or pulling the mask off, and the other high point being the brow over here. Let's see if we can get this to feel good. This area over here is a little bit bendy, so we got to kind of tweak that. With these eye patches, I'm going to need to turn off symmetry and mask off the one that's in this position that I want it to be in. This other one, I'm going to have to kind of manipulate it. I'm still trying to make sure that it feels like it's lining up, but I need it to feel like it's a little bit higher. And then We're gonna warp it a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. Okay, let me see. I do want to try to make sure that these things are kind of covered. You know, I want the cloth to kind of come up, the fold to come up and cover this lens, this eye lens. Just because I feel like it adds like a sense of believability to it. I'm not sure what that means. I'm gonna take this. I just want to make sure that this is varied up enough. That it feels believable. And natural. Let's try to get this to be a little bit straighter, so it's going to be between, this particular fold is going to be more between the thumb and the eye piece here. Beyond that, let's take this piece right here and we'll just kind of pull it in a little bit. Oops. Got to make sure to save every once in a while. So far it's kind of cool. What I'll have to do is I'll take like a render, a screenshot or something of this as far as I can get it. And then what I'll do is I'll take him over into, like, take that screenshot over into Procreate so that I can, let me see if this will let me, nope. So that I can essentially give myself a draw over. Art direct my, oh, there's the next one. Okay. Art direct my web placement. So I want to make sure that any webbing that I put in feels, you know, feels good, feels natural. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of that. What I'll do instead is I'll add in a loop, take away that loop. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. We gotta get these in here too. Cool. Let's come down to deformation, inflate that a little bit so that it's on the outside of the character's body. The topology was done by hand using the topology brush and different topology tools inside of Maya. Yeah, for character topology, for animation ready character topology, I tend to not use ZRemesher ever. There are some rare instances, like if I'm doing something for a hard surface character or a robot or a mech or different props or things like that, I'll use it for oftentimes to get myself close for the final topology. But yeah, no, for this stuff, this is stuff that I did using using the topology brush and Z modeler and things like that. Yeah, lots of fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. You know what? I am going to try to delete hidden. There we go. Just wanted to get rid of some creasing and get rid of any of these extra loops and extra creases and extra things we just don't need. And then we're going to mirror and weld. But we're going to mirror and weld the other direction. Yeah, okay. Mirror and weld. Got to try to work out some of these shapes and some of these forms. Mirror and weld. All right. Yeah, for me, I'm going to pretend that this me version of Spider-Man is just putting on his mask and he's suiting up, ready to go save the neighborhood, right? My wife was telling me I should do a Stranger Things fan art, so I might have to put that in my lineup of things to things to do at some point. I've loved the series and I'm super excited to see what happens for our characters in the second half of season 4. I only have to wait a few more days. Yeah, so cool, so stinking cool. outer groups, outer groups, outer groups. Something that looks like significantly different. This t-shirt is actually one that I got from another project that I had built to be able to demonstrate creating UVs inside of ZBrush. Kind of fun. It's a very simple model, but it's effective. It does what I need it to do. Oh, come on. Oh my goodness. It's like I keep running into this issue where it's like I'm trying to use certain functions, like the brush size, and it'll go through and it'll apply the brush rather than apply, you know, like allow me to select the brush scale slider. Kind of a bug, but I mean, it's not terrible. Let's go ahead and kind of shape this so that it feels like there's an arm underneath it. There's not going to be an arm underneath it, but you know, it's going to look like there's an arm underneath it. Although I probably should go through and just add that full arm. You know what, let's do it. We'll grab arms and torso here. But I'm pretty sure that I've already, let me see. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to add in that torso, and then maybe we'll see what we can do with it some other time. I don't know that I really have a ton of time to be able to turn that off. Let's turn off that texture too, because we don't need it. Where is that hand? Cool. Let's turn on the shirt. Let's say insert Alistair. Let's get rid of that. In fact, let's keep that section of the body too, and we'll just delete the rest. actually do something like this. So big. Oh, turn off local symmetry. Shrink it down. Fill object. Let me see. This is an old model. So let's see if we can fix some things with it. Let's go ahead and kind of play with some shape design here. Oops. There you go. That feels slightly more heroic and designed and controlled. That feels a little bit too far in. We'll just take the edge of the deltoid group here and then we'll just boom, like this. Boom, boom, like all of this. Yep. Those are some smartest muscles. ¿Dónde la viste? Let's go ahead and make sure all that's masked. Kind of pull that out a little bit. Grab this, we'll kind of pull it in some. There we go. There we go. Looks so much better already. Okay, let's go ahead and get these things started. I don't want symmetry anymore. Actually, maybe I kind of do for the moment. put it down there like that, and then we'll mold the shirt around it. But we're gonna tweak the shirt itself a little bit. I mean the body itself a little bit more first. Oh gosh, it's almost 11 o'clock. Let's get this guy posed. I should get this question scrolling along the bottom of my stream. So topology, yes, it's done inside of ZBrush, but for the most part, it's done. Well, it's done in ZBrush and Maya. Yeah, just a little bit of. A little bit of I guess trivia. You know, yeah, I do. I get this. I get asked this a lot, and yes, I do love to use ZBrush for my topology. And the reason is that it just makes it so that I can manipulate it in all sorts of different ways really quickly and really, really easily. So yeah, it's just nice. It's just really, really nice. But then there are also tools that I don't have access to as much here inside of ZBrush that I really, really like having access to. Just the ways that some different tools function a little bit more cleanly inside of Maya. So, you know, I go through and I kind of use both programs to be able to manage and navigate those things. Hello, hello, hello. You know what? I'm going to need some different polygroups here. Yeah, of course. Yeah, any questions you have, I am more than happy to answer. For those of you who are new here, who don't know me, I'm Steven Anderson. I'm known as the SMAARTIST online. You can see my username down there for pretty much any platform: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, etc. Yeah, what else? I work at Marvel as a character artist, working on characters for the shows, and I am super excited about that. It is a really neat job. Yeah, I've been streaming with Pixelogic for several years. Tu es prêt? friends is in a judo competition this weekend, and so they're gonna watch her a little bit. And by there I mean my kids. Okay, so let's kind of work this guy around a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna grab my transpose line and boom, something like that. We'll grab the inside of that arm. And it's all just kind of a matter of tweaking things around at first. Once I have the arm pieces connected, it'll be much easier to really define how these pieces need to be shaped. So for right now, let's go ahead and take this and kind of pull it back. What's the best platform to find jobs and clients? In my experience, finding clients is kind of tricky. I feel like I've had to, because like I don't like freelancing. I don't particularly care for it. It's not my area of that I particularly care to dwell in. I much more care for stability, and freelance doesn't really give me that. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I try to take care of my family, things like that, and I know that other people do it really well through freelance. I've always had a hard time with it. So one of the things that I've always found to be some of my favorite platforms to focus on are Instagram and ArtStation. One of my friends from Instagram is, responsible for getting me my Marvel job, which is super cool. And it's just because we were friends and knew each other on Instagram. That's how that connection was made. Then there's also my Netflix job. When I was working for Netflix Animation, I got that job because my art director at Netflix took the class that I teach at Noman. And he was like, "Hey, you want to come work with me at Netflix?" I was like, "Okay." So I got that job. My DreamWorks job is because I knew people, because I worked hard, and because I got to be something that they needed me to be, and that was great. So it really kind of just depends on like what it is that you put out there, and how it is that you network and form relationships with people. It's important to to connect well with people, because if you don't, they're not going to find you. So yeah, I'd say that's probably in my mind, one of the most important things. Network, work on your skills, and um, play nice with the other kids. Yeah, don't be a jerk. And then keep trying, because it's not easy. Finding good clients is not going to be easy, and but if it's something that you are interested in and that you are willing to fight for, then you'll make it. You'll find a way. And the way will find you too. Okay, in theory, I should be able to do this. We'll go into geometry, delete lower, or actually I might not even need to delete lower. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. So there's that. We're going to say merge that down, hit OK. Sweet. It kept my resolution and everything. Now, the thing that I need to be aware of is I need to delete lower now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say bridge 2 holes. We're going to say polygroup flat, align clicked edges, and hopefully it should be 1-to-1 all the way around, which is great because it's exactly what we need. The color's going to be off, but that's okay. We're just going to kind of smooth this out some. Wow, you look nice. Just to make sure that we have our color filled in, we'll do that. Do this. And then we'll do boom, like this. So if the edge loops don't exactly align, I knew that the edge loops were supposed to be, perfectly aligned because they came from the same model. That being said, if they didn't align perfectly, I would have had to do some finagling and model work to make sure that it did. Okay, let's go ahead and kind of ease out that shape a little bit. Let's see if we can build out my biceps a bit too, because it feels like they've lost some volume here. Just gonna pull that in, pull this up. But it's not just up, it's also got to come out. like this settling of the muscle in there. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. I mean, there's some shape things that are happening in here that need to be fixed, and we'll fix them as we go along, but you know, hey, starting to look like something. If you have more on one of the pieces than the other, then yeah, that's where you have to go through and just kind of work it out. Especially if it's a model for production. Now, this is not something that's for production. This is something that's just for me, for kicks and giggles and, you know, celebrating a win. So it's not so much a priority for me that everything's absolutely perfect, but there is still, you know, there's still some care that I put into things. In fact, I may or may not even keep that t-shirt. We'll have to turn it off for a little bit. We'll decide later if we do or don't. Let's go ahead and take this and boom. Just kind of pull us forward a little bit to account for the for this muscle right here, this little deltoid bit here. Let's kind of smooth it out some. It's not going to let us. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what's going on, because this is going to be important. Wonder if it has something to do with, yeah, it looks like it does. It has a lot to do with this group right here. Trying to think, my kid's friend, I think, is in a judo competition down in San Diego or something, I think, this weekend. And it's kind of funny hearing them cheer her on and everything over the phone downstairs. It's cute. Try to smooth some of this out. Trying to make space for that muscle compression. And then we'll try to build this pectoral region up just a little bit, because there's going to be some flex to it when as it's bringing the arm across the body like this. Let's see if we can figure out why this isn't meshing well. See if we can get it to smooth out some. Oops. Let's lower this down again to something real low. Just really control the way these things come together. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this good for now. Is this going to be animated? No, 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 no. If I were to animate it at all, it would be like really simple things, like a like a simple like idle movement or something like that. Maybe a little bit of like flex to the fingers or something. Nah, yeah, this would not be animated. But it'd be cool if I had the bandwidth to do something like that. Yeah, it's just for the sake of a picture. But yeah, so far so good. That's kind of where we're gonna leave him for now. Lots left to do, but we'll have time enough another day. All right. Dang, that was fun. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today, guys. Um, yeah, hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. It was a long one, and it was a good one, and it's always fun doing superheroes, right? Anyway, had a great time, and if you guys want to be able to see more of this as I work on it, or I don't know if I'll continue working on it on stream. I might work on it in my free time outside of the stream, um, at some point if I get there. Um, if I do, I'll go ahead and I'll post it on my Instagram. You can find that. You can find that my username just right here, right next to the ZBrush Live logo, and yeah, SMAARTIST. I have got a day ahead of me, and I will look forward to that and have fun. And you guys do the same. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time I see you. Yeah, smartest out.